Hey guys, welcome to Old Iron Garage. Thank you for tuning in. So in this video, we're going to pick up right where we left off in the last video. I decided in the last video to, after recording it, I decided to make it a two-part video because it ran kind of long. So we're just going to dive right in and pick up right where we left off. Alrighty. Alright guys, I'm back. And I got that cover off, and off camera I went ahead and took off the piston rod caps. There's one over here, one over here. So the next step, let's go ahead and pop the pistons out of it. Probably gonna have to lay it down to do this. I have never disassembled one of these engines before, so this is all new territory for me. Of course, that little ridge is going to fight us a little bit. Not really worried about saving the pistons and rods. Yeah, I'm not really worried about that because if someone does rebuild this engine, they wouldn't be reusing those. So I'm going to put one of these connecting rod bolts back in the connecting rod and try to lightly tap on that to get the piston rings past the ridge at the top. Let's see if I can find a good hammer to tap with. And I guess here's a punch. Looks like it's going. Aha! So there's one. I am going to put the caps back on the rods the way they came off, just for anywho. Yeah, that piston head is a little chewed up above on the side above the top ring. Now, let's repeat that same procedure. Stand this thing up. On its other end. Thread a bolt back into the connecting rod. See if I can tap this one out. Yep, there she goes. and she is popped free. This one is the worst one. You can see the damage there above the top piston ring. Yeah. Anyway. So now I need these snap ring pliers. I don't know if I have the adapter that's I don't know if I have an adapter that's big enough, so let's see if we can just get this snap ring off with what's currently on here. There we go. See if we can walk this snap ring out. Yuck. That did not taste good. There we go. When it popped out of the groove, it was all cockeyed. I was trying to straighten it before using the pliers again, so I don't end up like warping it, twisting it, you know. This gear that's right here on the crankshaft, the timing gear has to come off. Let's, I don't want to put that there, and you guys can't see. I do not have the nut that goes on the end of the crankshaft to hold on the flywheel, because it just wasn't there when I got this engine, so let's just, otherwise I would put that on to protect the end of the crank. I don't have that, so let's just give it a little bit of light love with a hammer and see what happens. Try to be careful. I think it's moving, guys. Yep, it is. It is indeed moving. So I'm going to just support the other end of the crank and tap and pull. Come on. Whew. So far, so good. Just trying not to mushroom this end of the crank. It is coming out, but very slowly. Jeez. Okay, let's push it back in. I'm going to take this punch and kind of carefully walk that gear back in. I'll put some lube on behind it, in front of it again. I'm just going to gently walk this gear back in, if I can. Looks like it is going back in, I think. Maybe not. I was hoping to move it back in, be able to move this. It is going back in a little bit. I was hoping to move it back in and be able to kind of walk that gear back and forth a little bit with some lube and get it to come on out. It is going back in. The idea behind that is to get some lube worked in between the gear and the crank. I'm going to take some sandpaper and lightly sand on the outward side of the snap ring groove. As I rotate the engine's going to want to move because it's standing on top of the end of one of the cylinders, and the valves are going to want to pop out, so it's going to want to move on me a little bit. I just got to make sure I don't tip it over. Alright, now let's try this again. See if she'll come out this time. She's moving. Slowly. There we go. There we go. We got her. There's that gear. And here, careful, here's the crank. What a mess. This bench is a mess. All right. So, crank is out. Let's take a look at the where the connecting rods go. There's a hole for oiling. There's another one. So, one of these, I mean, I can see some marks going around, but I can't feel a thing. And the marks going around is very light. The other one, however, you can see a little more marking. And I can maybe just ever so slightly feel it, just barely, with my thumbnail. I'm going to get you guys in here, let you see it for yourself. All right. One moment. Okay. Trying to see if I can. There. I had to shield the light from above. So this one, you can just barely see a line there, but I cannot feel it with my fingernail at all. This one, however, there's some scoring marks, and I can just barely snag a fingernail on that one line. So this could easily, if it's not, I don't know how far down you can regrind these, but if it's not too far already, this could easily be reground, and you could have a real nice crankshaft. I mean, depending on these surfaces here, I guess. Oh, while you're here, this connecting rod cap was on the one that has more marks as well as along with this connecting rod. Now here you can feel some deep marks. This connecting rod is toast. However, this connecting rod here cannot feel a thing. I can see a tiny line. It would not be ideal to reuse this, but if someone is in a pinch, they could. But yeah, it would not be ideal. But it could be done, and it would last a while, I think. I don't know how long, but I guess if I was trying to get one of these going and I was in a pinch, I would. So, lesson learned. Like I said previously, I had never taken apart one of these Kohler opposed twins before. Did not know there was this giant C-clip in here. That's why that cover put up such a struggle to come off. Yeah. The cover came off in pieces. So, yeah. Anywho, to be honest, even if I knew about it, I don't know that I would have had a way to get in there to release the snap ring from its groove. So I definitely do not have snap ring pliers that big. So it probably would have come off in pieces anyways, especially since I had already previously broken it. I'd broken the one side off. So, yep. Anyway. Alright guys, so next step is I'm going to remove this nut that is holding the timing gear on the cam, and then it looks like I probably have to remove this plate here that is behind the timing gear, and then I'm going to try to remove the cam with the valve still in, if I can, without damaging anything. I really wasn't wanting to remove the valves, so we'll see if I can do that or not. There's the nut. The impact was the only way I was going to be able to get that done, because just putting a socket on there and trying to turn it with a ratchet was just going to turn the cam is all it was going to do. Looks like this cam will pull right, this timing gear will pull right off the cam, no problem. Okay, so this bolt is already gone, so I have 1, 2, 3, looks like 1/2 inch bolts to remove. Oh, that is 7/16. Oops, I thought I had grabbed a 1/2 inch. That's strange. It appears that I am missing both of my 3/8 drive 1/2 inch sockets, deep and shallow well, from my drawer here. I wonder where I would have set those down at. Okay, well, let's see if 1/4 inch drive will get them out. Yep. Yep. Yes, sir. Pretty easy. should pop off. Yep, there it is. Now, I'll put that nut back on so I have something to grab onto. Now comes the fun part. See if I can weasel that cam out of there with the tappet still pushing on it. Where is it hitting first? I'm going to have to, like, very gently pry the tappets away from the cam. And move the cam a little bit at a time. There we go. We're making some ground. Okay, which one is binding up now? Come on. Okay. Easy does it. Hey, what do you know? Just be very gentle with it. Try not to mar the lobes or the bearing surfaces. And it's out. I'm going to wipe down the lobes and the bearing surfaces and just kind of give it a visual inspection. There is some light surface rust on some of the lobes, but it's just very light. There's no pitting so far. Looks like just some very minor polishing would take that off. This looks like a very usable cam. Come on. Get that nut back off of there. Oops. Got some of those dirty. This looks to be pretty usable, really. I mean, doesn't look like, I don't see anything that a little bit of very light polishing wouldn't take off. And I'm going to be careful to leave those tappets in the holes that they are currently in. When I take them out, I will somehow mark them as to where they were. Because if somebody rebuilds this and wants to reuse those, they would want to make sure they went back in the same holes it came out of. One moment, let me spin you around here. Alright, so block that light from above. This looks like a very usable cam still. You see just very light surface rust. There's no pitting there. I don't know how the camera's picking it up compared to how it looks in person, but it looks very good in person. Nothing, a little bit of very light polishing shouldn't take off. Alright. As you can see, I've got it fully gutted except for the valve train. The tappets are still in there. The tappets all seem to move nicely. Nice and easy. Let me put you down for just a second while I, actually, you know what, I really don't need to, I can just turn the block, I don't really need to stand it upright. Actually, I will bring you back here in just a little bit. Okay, so I wiped down the cylinders. You know what I forgot to do, daggone it. Oh, one moment, see if I can. See, there's some rust back there. This thing definitely did have some water in it, some moisture. I would say it had a little bit of water sitting in it because of that. But I forgot to measure I can still measure the bore, and I think that'll be enough to tell me what block this is. I'll have to add 20 thousandths, or deduct 20 thousandths from whatever the bore is. Because if you remember, the pistons are marked 20 thousandths over. But anyways, see if I can block the light from above to make it a little bit less washed out. This looks to be a very usable block. Alrighty. Alright guys, so I have come to the conclusion that this engine is a Kohler K532. How did I reach that conclusion? Okay, so the stock bore of a Kohler K532 is 3.37 inch. And remember, this one is bored 20 over because the pistons were stamped 20 over. They were stamped .020. So, the bore, after I lightly sanded the ridge on the top of the bore, then measured 3.3, almost 95. Yeah, almost 3.395. So that's just over 20 thousandths over the stock bore of a Kohler K532. So, yeah, it's a Kohler K532. Anyways, that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun for me to tear down this engine and look into it. Seems like the block is salvageable, like it could be bored out and used again. I haven't found anything wrong with it yet. I have to mic. The only other things I have to do yet tonight is clean up the parts and mic the crank and the cam and make sure or see what's good and usable and see what's not and determine what parts I can post for sale. Alright guys, that's all for this video. I hope you, well, I guess I already said that. I hope you enjoyed this video. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.